Someone had to do it. Someone had to make another video. Well, here we are. All right. So, I don't even know where to start. I watched the video, and I'm going to pretty much do the same thing I did with the last video, show some clips of him and then say whatever. I'm not going to be an asshole to this guy because I never actually spoke to him. I was an asshole to Clanky because of other reasons, which I put it in like the comments in my video and stuff if you even care. But yeah, I'm not going to be a dick. Too much of a dick. I don't know. I mean, I might be mean sometimes, but this video, I don't know. There are there are a lot of problems. That's what I'm gonna say. But I'll speak more about all that when we get into the clips. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this.
The learning process is horrendous. It's fun to learn bosses, right? We like learning bosses, right? Well, the learning process for this boss is notoriously terrible. I have not found a single person who enjoyed the Consort Radon learning process ever. Many times throughout the actual learning process of the boss, there will be light beams and clones that severely obfuscate what to actually do. Whether that be mid-combo or actually at the end of something, it just really isn't pretty to have this covering your screen after every single attack. There are a million bosses who have communicated this exact same concept, but have done it in far more clear ways. When the main form of difficulty behind how to dodge the attacks is the actual visual clutter of the fight, rather than the actual interesting mechanics, then I sort of have a problem. This boss is not very complex, all things considered, but when I actively have to spend hours trying to decipher what he's even doing in the learning process, it is concerning. And it's not just a me thing. I've never seen a single soul by hundreds of thousands of people ever find the learning process enjoyable, because working out these attacks is not very fun. And I get it, not every attack has to be intuitive, and not every learning process has to be this magical experience where every attempt is awesome and it's being a complete thrill. I'm fine with some bosses where the learning process isn't fun, but the end result actually is. It's just a bit of a problem when everybody I have ever met, regardless if they like the boss or not, does not enjoy the learning process. Every person I've ever met, every YouTube comment section I've ever seen, by the hundreds of thousands, I have never seen a single soul say, I enjoyed Consort Radon's learning process. The comment can be made for nearly every other high quality boss in the series, but not for this one. Even after doing this 8-minute no-hit on screen, with at least 100 hours on this boss fight, level 1 no-hits plus zeros endurance runs, I still think the visual clutter for this is absolutely horrendous. These moves do not look good. They are confusing. Confused is the last thing I want in a learning process.
All right. So let's start with the visual clutter part. The issue I have with this is that PCR's move that like his attacks in phase 2 are all mostly his phase 1 attacks still. So the visual clutter really shouldn't matter, especially since if you've ever practiced a boss, you would know, or even PCR, like you'll just tune out like the visual parts that like you don't need to focus on. Like it's all just kind of overstimulation at first, but like when you're practicing and you're just sitting in the boss fight in phase 2, like you should just be looking at what you need to be looking at. Like you just tune out like all that other stuff. So this point doesn't make too much sense. Like, and saying that like it makes the learning process hard or not fun doesn't make sense because it's just the same moves as phase 1. Like just practice phase 1 if you aren't good at dodging the moves, you know? So next he talks about like not finding a single person that likes the boss, but I mean he just goes into like the comment sections of videos, so I don't know what we're gonna find in there. We're not gonna find good things in there, but I mean also he shows Ulu for some reason. I'm pretty sure Ulu likes this boss, but I don't know. And again, like before, like the learning process for PCR is it's not really shouldn't really be too frustrating. Like you just stay in front of him and you just get his moves down to muscle memory, which his moves are he has less and they're more simple, honestly. So compared to like other bosses, this boss should actually be kind of better because he's not really gonna like trick you. He doesn't have like a million different like combos like Melania has, I guess. Obviously, Melania doesn't have a million different combos, but like he only will have like some moves will have a mix up of like two different moves, and that's it. So like you just get past the light beam part. Like just practice phase one, man. Just practice phase one. If you can do phase one for 10 minutes, you can probably go into phase two and do well. That's that's my advice anyways, but I don't know, man. All right, so this last part I want to talk about. He has 100 hours on this boss. I really hope he's joking, man. And I said I wasn't being mean. I don't want to be mean, but dude, what on God's green earth were we doing for 100 hours and we do not know a single strafe? Like, I am sorry. I'm really sorry. He doesn't even know the Blood Flame Blade strafe, dude. Like, no wonder he hates this boss, dude. He doesn't know a single strafe. Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how to put together a sentence to, like, describe how I felt watching this video and seeing him not do a single strafe. Like, it hurt, man. It really hurt to watch. Like, I'm sorry. And, like, I said this in the last video, every boss, dude, if you learn, like, the optimized punishes, man, I guarantee you it'll be, like, 10 times more fun. So I really think that's where he went wrong. But again, like how? 100 hours? Like that is a long amount of times. That's how much time it took me to get like the Mesmer kill. And like Ralana and Lion, that took 80 to 90. Like those long kills took 100 hours. He did 100 hours to get an 8-minute kill with no strafes, no optimization. Like something is not like something just doesn't add up, man. Like this is kind of just ranting at this point, but like you can't talk about a learning process and then say you have 100 hours and you didn't find a single strafe, a single anything. Like I really don't know what we were doing. I'm sorry.
This boss is not very complex, just really, really confusing. He has almost no mix-ups and almost nothing in the way of externals, positioning checks, etc. I made a whole video breaking down what complex means in a boss fight, but basically how many variables you need to keep track of. Consort Radon, all things considered, does not have that many variables to keep track of, in all honesty, which kinda does hurt, considering he has 0 attacks to account for your positioning. 0 back attacks, 0 strafe attacks, and this is just so odd to me. Every other boss in game has some form of way to account for you positioning around him. This boss has absolutely 0 positioning based extenders. You know, the thing the entire game is built upon, the thing everybody's been doing since Tree Sentinel. Bosses since Dark Souls 1 have had consistent back attacks, but I don't know why he doesn't have one. With how long the phase goes, these really samey moves and just lack of positioning based extenders overall make the fight feel really, really repetitive. When you're standing in the neutral, when you both are standing still, he spams the shit out of reaction checks, which is partially why I think he's so hard, and partially why I don't like him. Look, I'm fine with some reaction checks, you know, quick moves in neutral that test your reaction speed, so there's more thrill to when you approach them. But oh my god, when half the moves in neutral are just reaction checks, light speed attack, that crater your HP bar, it leads to a very draining fight. His base moveset isn't actually that bad, it's the way things jank around it to make a good moveset very hard and far worse than normal.
All right, so let's start with him talking about PCR not having any positional attacks, which is true, obviously. But if you look at other bosses that have positional attacks, a lot of them get abused pretty hard. Like if you look at Mesmer, man, like dude, phase one is just a complete joke because if you're behind him, he'll just do two moves or he'll side hop away. But like you just watch the phase one of my kill and you'll see it's not very exciting. I mean, it looks cool, but I mean, I'm telling you, if you do that for more than 5 minutes, you just so boring, man. But like PCR doesn't really need these positional attacks because like you're obviously trying to stay in front of him anyways. Like that was pretty much the whole point of all of his phase two stuff, the hair and all that stuff. Like stay in front of him so you can see everything. And to talk about, not a lot of complexity of his moves, I think, that's kind of the point with phase two, to bring the light in, is that instead of having more complex combos, it focuses more on just like directional dodges, just you just have to be precise with your dodge rolls and you have to react quickly and precisely. You can't just react and just roll forward, just don't have to care. Like you have to roll a certain direction for every move, which makes the fight engaging. Like it's very engaging. You have to focus. So I don't think it's too big of a problem that he doesn't have too much complexity or positional things because the complexity kind of lies elsewhere for this fight.
So this three-piece combo is inconsistent. You can't punish it properly. As you can see in the footage, I'm trying to do a rolling R1 and it just doesn't work. My recovery's too slow. So, okay, yeah, that's fine and all, right? You can't punish the boss. It's just a bit of waiting, never hurt anybody. Oh, wait, okay, so, you also shouldn't punish his Blood Flame Slash because that's inconsistent too. Okay, yeah, fair, okay. Two attacks that you can't normally punish with the Colossal, okay. Oh, wait, you shouldn't also punish his stomp because he can randomly cancel this in your face, even though the entire game is built around consistent positioning based extenders. Okay, yeah, fair. Okay, so just don't punish the stomp if he just does it in neutral and just a stomp. Oh, wait, his clone double slash is also inconsistent. Okay, yeah, fair. We won't punish that move either. Oh, wait, his Star Color Cry can sometimes be an extender when you roll up point blank, and other times, it's an extender when you roll up point blank. So, you shouldn't get your fair opening. It's inconsistent. Okay, yeah, fair. Okay, we just won't punish that move either. His Rock Sling, okay, you can't punish that, he's making a lot of distance. His Light of Mikola, okay, you can't punish that either, it's just a giant nuke runaway move. And, well, you also can't punish his Light Speed Slash, he's going away from you. And, but yeah, you also can't punish his Meteor attack, it's just too much distance. Okay, well, if a third of the moveset shouldn't or can't be punished, that's okay. I'm fine with 30% of my boss fights being waiting, particularly on heavy weapons and even on lighter weapons, because I have a lobotomy.
All right, so the first part of this kind of disappoints me a little bit because, I'm pretty sure this guy should know what is actually happening here. And it's not the boss. This is for every boss, by the way, in every single game. It's the time it took for you to react that is making it inconsistent. If you react to it faster and you roll it faster, then you'll get the punish. But if you react later, then you're ending your roll later. So now he recovered. Does that make sense? Because I didn't think this was something that wasn't like super known. Like this point really it makes me like it makes him lose like credibility for me. Like I don't know. Like it's it's for every boss. Like this is for every boss. And also like in the background you see I'm showing like Swyhander kills that I did because he talks about this later in the clip like with the openings. Again, doesn't know the Blood Flame Blade opening. I don't know, but yeah, like these are not inconsistencies. Like that they're not inconsistency at all. Like this is worse than what Clanky was talking about with the asteroids, man. I don't know. And also like in the background you see the Zweihander kills. Like you see all with all the strafes. Like the fight is perfectly fine with an Ultra Man, which he talks about more later. Like with the strafes for the two slashes and the blood flame and the Star Scourge meteor and all that. Like it makes the fight perfectly fine. And also for phase one asteroids, you can chase him and hit him when he lands. And for phase two, he'll come back to you, so it's fine. You can also use throwing knives to upkeep the poise. So it's really just the front clones and Light of Miquella that makes you wait. So like he's really he's really over exaggerating like the amount of waiting you have to do with Colossals.
Okay, so let's take a look at his other moves. You know, the moves you could actually punish and have fun with. He has this sweep into a slam that ignores iframes.
I'm not even gonna continue the clip, dude. Okay, okay. This move, man. I have never had a problem with this move in my 200 hours of playing this boss, dude. You literally roll to the right and then you roll to the left. I like, dude, this move, man. It's if you're further back, it'll ignore your iframes. But like it just should never be an issue, man. Like ever. Like literally ever. Like this is just one of the dumbest things you could talk about. Like I don't know.
His cross slash is mostly fine after nerf, mostly fine, mostly fine, mostly fine, kinda fine, not really fine. Why is this move still a frame trap sometimes?
All right. So like I was talking about before, it is the timing that he's rolling. So again, Mesmer has this same problem. He had this problem since the start with his quick double swipe. It's if you react too late, you still roll the first one, but then you get frame trapped. PCR's was like impossible, obviously pre-nerf, so you had to do the side roll thing. But like I don't understand like how does he not know this? Like this is my issue. Like how does he not know this? Like I don't know if this is like part of the more joking part, but like this it's just reacting late. And also another thing, he's rolling to the left, which is into the other sword. So he's giving himself less time to roll again. If he rolled to the right, into the right, he would be giving himself more time to be able to get out of the first roll and into the second one. So this is just kind of big mistake from him.
His Light of Mikola is a really cool attack, but there's some stupid fucking particle effect when you look at him, where the shine off his body legit looks like light beam startup. And seeing through that on top of the stray random shit in the arena is like dunking my eyes into a water tank and trying to see out the other side. It's just like, why? Why do you make it harder for me to see? You can use this to combo you into other attacks, which is random, awesome. And these things can spawn outside of your FOV damn near, and you can't punish this move consistently. Part of my issue with this move is that it's another running away attack in a fight where half the moves require you to run away. No other boss in Elden Ring is this bad at this. How can you have any semblance of flow in a boss fight when half of your moves are about either running away to avoid them or where he runs away and you have to catch up to him?
All right, I'm not gonna blame him for this one because obviously I'm like the only person who even knows about the Light of Mikola like tech thing that I do. But if you want to know more about that, I explained it in the Clanky vid. I mean, I'll explain it a little bit, and I think you should be able to see it in one of the kills that I'm doing with the Zweihander in the background. But it's just you run behind him, and then he has to turn around to face you. So you can run back in, and then he only does close range moves, so it's like super safe. And also, he talks about the boss doing long range moves like close randomly, which is because of the queuing for Light of Mikola. He queues the move if you're far from him, so even if you run into him, he'll do a long range move. But if you run behind him, then he doesn't queue a move unless you're too late. But that's why you just sprint behind him, and then he won't queue a move, and then you're not gonna have that issue anymore. So I'm not gonna blame him for not knowing something like this because I'm pretty much like the only person who even knows about this.
Yeah, his Pontiff combo. See, the fun thing about his Pontiff combo is that he's supposed to teleport to you, which is the fun part. It's really cool, right? But sometimes he'll just squirt forward for absolutely zero reason that's completely unpredictable, leading it to an unpredictable, unpreventable one shot. You never know when he's just going to stop and you're going to roll into his light beams, or he's going to teleport to you and you have to roll left.
All right, so for the Pontiff combo, you should never really be in the spots that he is, where like he's too far. Just like I don't know how he got that far, but like it is a real issue, and I'm gonna talk about like bad design stuff at the end because I brought it up in the beginning of the Clanky video, and I think people like kind of forgot about my point, but I'm gonna make a point about like his bad design stuff in the end. But back to the Pontiff combo. Yeah, like you just need to work on the positioning, like make sure you're always close to him. Like the only time you should do Pontiff combo from afar is after front clones.
close range, he can do a single melee move. Why does it look like he's going to start a combo with one slash, then just leave it alone, just to make you think? He's gonna make you think, oh, he's gonna continue his combo, you know? This is the one move that he uses at the start of his other combo. But no, he just arbitrarily stops it to throw another reaction check, which is really, really unfun.
All right. I'm glad he brought this up because it shows he actually fights this boss. Unlike Clanky, you didn't even know this was like a thing. But yeah, this this attack is pretty funny. Like it is very random, and it's very rare because obviously he 90% of the time does the grab, but then he'll just do the vertical slam or the cross slash, but just won't follow up. But I mean, in terms of like the learning experience, like I think when you're learning, definitely you need to make sure you understand like the attack that he did before, like that will matter most of the time for every boss. So like you should be able to put together like, okay, he didn't follow up after he did the AoE. This is also with the stomp. After he does like a dash and stomps, he won't follow up. That's another thing that like might be hard to figure out, but when you're learning, you definitely have to just be keen on what he did before this, like why was it different, and then you should be able to figure it out because most of the time it is just the move he did before. So, yeah.
Which is the exact same logic. One swing that is at the start of the combo, but never goes anywhere, like my future. Okay, wait, no, actually, he can sometimes extend it. There is absolutely zero consistency. Sometimes when you stand in his face, he could do one hit, or he could do the mix-up. If you guess early and just try to punish that one attack, if he does that mix-up, you're fucked. If you try to predict for the mix-up, and then you react late because he only does one swing, well then you're fucked too, because he instantly cancels into the next reaction check.
All right. So yeah, I can see how this is frustrating, but I think he doesn't know that you can react to the fact that he isn't following up. Like if you see this Y-hander clips, you see like sometimes he isn't following up with the delayed slash at the end, and I do a tap R2 because I know when like the timing, like right when I know that time has passed that he's gonna do it and he doesn't, that's when you get your hit in. So I find it honestly more like engaging that way that like you have to wait and see. And if he does, you get the punish on that, and if he doesn't, then if you're fast enough, you still get your punish. So it's honestly like a cool little thing. But I can see how it's annoying, but it's just something that you got to get used to.
At least his clone attacks, once you get over the learning process, are good. I do actually seriously like these moves in concept. Running directionally is something that almost no boss in Elden Ring teaches you. But his clone attacks can also randomly stray out and stun you into a combo for more unpredictable, unpreventable, and unavoidable damage. Why you are moving the correct direction and for some reason have a damn near unreactable telegraph that you have to predict, I do not know. Actually, all of his clone attacks, they exist really hard, man. They exist really hard. One of the moves of all time for sure. If you exclude the learning process and the horrendous visual clarity and the horrific visuals and the weird extensions on them and the fact that they can disappear, making for unreactable timings or nonsensical tracking, or every part of the clone moves are just shit, yeah, then they're good. Well, at least.
All right, so this will be probably the most important part of the vid, I guess. So for the clone jank, I want to talk about positioning. So for the asteroids, when you run away, make sure you're not running further than you need to run. So you see in one of his clips, the guy was way too far and then PCR landed like shorter. So when he rolled, he just rolled into like the little like puddle he makes, which has happened to me sometimes. So you need to make sure you're not running too far away there. And for the one where he just lands like completely off track, In that clip, the guy was like a mage, so I'm assuming he like shot him or something when he went up, and that fucked up his tracking, which is obviously shit, but just, just gonna throw out that it is consistent, but you just don't try to shoot at him or else he'll like jank out in the asteroids, which sucks, but just what you gotta do. And for the vertical clone jank out, it's another distance thing. The closer you are, the less chance they have to jank out. I don't think I've ever had it jank out on me when I'm super close. And in the clip where he was super close, I don't know if it was him, the guy with the lion mask, it looked like it janked out, but I don't think it hit him. Like he like stood still or something weird at the end. I couldn't really see that well, but if it did, then oh well, super rare. One in like a million jank moment. Like I said in Clanky's vid, that jank is one of the rarest things you'll like ever see in your life.
His combos are good. No, they're not. They're some of the worst moves in the game, actually. One of his combos has him do a rock pull-up attack in phase 1, which is a randomized hitbox. Every time he does this attack, it literally has a randomized hitbox. Yep. Every time he slams the floor, the hitbox is different. So sometimes you can roll it and be fine, and other times it will roll catch you, and you will have zero idea why. Why this attack just couldn't be one consistent pull-up, I have zero clue. You will literally try to outposition this attack and die to invisible, nonsensical hitboxes, because yes, the hitbox is immensely inaccurate from the visual. Why? Also, yeah, we can ignore this weird sphere pull-up hitbox too.
All right, so this is kind of one of the sillier things he talks about, honestly. It's not inconsistent like it's inconsistent, I guess, how the hitbox spawns, but I mean, again, I don't know why he's rolling into it, man. I like positioning, man, straves. Like, why doesn't he know any of this? I don't know, but anyways, I mean, just watch my clean any my 80-minute kill or my 30-minute kill of clean run. I think the clean run one's better because it shows that I queue a CR2 like earlier too to show like it's perfectly consistent and it's really easy. Like you roll the slam and then you just walk behind him and just don't get super close. Like just be in a safe, a safe spot, like a safe distance, and you're never gonna get hit by it. Like this is just a little silly, man.
Main mechanic behind Phase 2, the light beams that flash you harder than an OnlyFans model, are insanely inconsistent and absolutely incompetent. Quickie Mocha pointed this out in his video, but in short, the way the light beams are supposed to come out are completely random and depend on the arena. Taking a look at the actual hitboxes, these are small particles that fly out depending on the curves of the arena. If the arena is flat, it's consistent. If the arena is wobbly and slanted, then fuck me, just throw the controller up in the air and hope for the best, because you could avoid an attack the exact same way 9 times out of 10, and then on the 10th try, for absolutely zero reason, you will be punished for rolling the correct direction. Let that sink in for a second. Having literal perfect correct gameplay still punishes the player. Absolutely insulting.
Alrighty, here we go again with the light beams. Okay, so in my 80-minute kill, I avoid the light beams, obviously, and it's an 80-minute long kill, so it is not luck. You cannot get lucky for an hour and 30 minutes straight. So, listen, I know it's frustrating, but you need to understand there is a way to roll where you will avoid it every time, and figuring that out really isn't that bad. It really isn't that bad. It didn't take me 200 hours to figure that out. It took me 200 hours to figure out some other things, and it was just grinding because the kill is hard because it's 80 minutes long. You just roll into him for the most part, and the hardest one is the cross slash because of the camera sometimes. But that that's really it. You just roll into him and past him. And I mean, you can just watch my kill if you want more of the details of which direction for every move. Like every move I have in my brain, just I know which way, and it'll work every time. I promise you. I promise you. But in like his clips and Clanky's clips, you'll see a lot of the clips that show them getting hit. The roll they do is pretty bad. Like honestly, like they'll roll backwards or something, and then like I don't know why they say they did a perfect roll. Like they didn't obviously, but again, You just gotta learn it, man. It isn't too bad. I promise, man. I promise.
Every melee attack is a bad hitbox. You cannot jump or duck under a single hit in this boss fight, at least not consistently. Look how horrifically oversized these shits are. You can literally die through attacks you thought you strafed, but nope, invisible, oversized hitboxes on pretty much every single attack. How is every single attack a bad hitbox? You can get slapped by shit that hits you way earlier than it should. Pretty much removing all other dynamic ways to play besides roll spamming just feels like the antithesis of Elden Ring's combat. And look, I kind of get what they were going for here. They wanted a super hard challenge that forced the player to master the basics of rolling, but come on, man. Margit, the first boss of the game, mechanically tests the player way harder than this guy. That boss actually has positional responses on a roll-to-roll basis mid-combo, heal reads, force strafes, jumpables, low profilables, and immensely responsive AI to where you stand and what you're doing. Such primitive AI in comparison is just like, what the fuck? Did they just fire every developer who worked on Rolana's hitboxes on PCR or Armored Core 6? I just don't see how having less ways to play and the same boring responses of roll left or run away is just supposed to be what I'm expecting or what I should receive from my final DLC Elden Ring boss. I'm sorry, I don't know how much I can get this over my head.
All right. So this part is pretty good point. That's why like I do like this guy, honestly. Like, he like is good, obviously. I really just think he probably just came into PCR with that kind of mindset that this boss is just shit or something. And I don't know, like he obviously is into like jumps and like ducks. It seems like he doesn't look for strafes too much, which I guess may have been the the issue with this. So, I mean, with the strafes he has, the Blood Flame Blade and the two slashes and the vertical clone strafe. And then after the vertical clone strafe and you roll, he does the double slash thing again, you can strafe that. And then with the meteor eye frame, like there are still a lot of cool things you can do to make this fight more fun, so I hope he tries it out, but who knows. There's also the Pawn of Combo strafe, which I forgot to add, which for some weapons you can get a hit in between, which is cool.
The camera is absolutely horrific and one of the worst in the series. It goes under him and also can sometimes go over him, and it just feels so unstable, so that it's so hard for me to actually tell what's going on. And while yes, you can't just memorize every attack and then just respond accordingly, why does this have to be the case? Why does this camera have to flip up and down? Imagine this was the standard for every Elden Ring boss fight. Imagine fighting Soldier of Godric, but with every swing, your camera flips up and down 180 left and right. Nobody should be fine with this being Console Radon's camera. If you're fine with Console Radon's camera being this wacky, put this on every single enemy and boss and NPC in the entire game, and then just tell me how fun that is. No, I don't care for the lore that it makes him seem imposing. Look, he's standing above me. He has more aura. If I literally can't see what the fuck he's about to do, then it's terrible. No amount of story is ever going to save me getting one shot off the screen. Oh yeah, the camera could just also randomly do flips and 360s around him for zero reason, throwing off your roll direction, tossing you into unpredictable, more unpreventable, more unavoidable damage because why not? Why not? No boss in FromSoft history has a camera that has 360s. Why? Even on stationary attacks, how is the camera doing 360s?
Alright, so for the camera, it's again like mostly positional problem. This is definitely not as bad as people who complain about like dragon cameras when they're like literally hugging the dragon's penis. Like obviously that's just like insane cope. Like this makes more sense, but you just need to like you don't want to hug PCR like touching him. Like you want to be close, but you want to be back enough to where you can see the swords. And when you roll, like it matters too. Like if you look at my kill, like the camera, like it looks very controlled because I'm just making sure the camera's not going to jank out. The camera's only going to jank out on the cross slash, which sucks because that could mess up your roll and you'll roll into the light beam. But like I know it can jank out, so the way I roll, like I can see if the camera janks out, I'll like move my stick in a way to where I'll still roll the way I want, which is like an adaptation thing. Which yeah, maybe I shouldn't have to do it, but it is what it is. But the camera's not the worst thing ever.
Okay, so take away the condescending talk, take away all the, the stuff I'm doing for a bit and just like playing up how I feel for the video. To give my honest thoughts, every part of this boss fight is broken in some way, whether that be the animations, visual clarity, the camera, the consistency, the way they function, random inconsistent extenders when you stand in front of him, stops and starts to combos midway for zero reason. Almost all of his moves are janky or broken in some way. With a fight like Bed of Chaos, at the very least, it's consistent with his combo enders. If you look at his slam, Bed of Chaos cannot cancel his animations, then overlap his slam with other moves. He has to pause after this, which is baitable and he's easy to do. You can also use quit out strats, it's doable, yada yada yada. I'm not saying Bed of Chaos is a good boss. I'm just saying he has at least some consistent elements of his boss fight. Bed of Chaos at least has an easy moveset. This boss doesn't have that. He doesn't have consistency in almost anything he does. Toward the ends of my 8-minute no-hit I'm showing on screen right now, the last hour of attempts had me literally play perfect, but the only times I was dying was to jank. That really hurt me. Imagine having literal perfect gameplay, but the only thing killing you is unfair, unpreventable, unpredictable, and unavoidable damage. Having literally correct gameplay will not save you, and this is my problem.
All right, we are at the end. So I don't really know what went wrong. If he has 100 hours, like, when I was at my 100-hour mark, I was getting probably consistent 30 to 40-minute kills. I think it really just came down to the learning, like he said, he just, I, I don't think he learned enough, I guess, before doing attempts because, like, that's just where the issues arise. He definitely did not play, he probably thought he played perfectly, which is unfortunate when you think you're playing perfectly and not, but like if something is inconsistent, you got to do everything in your power to find a way. And that's like I think just where the issues arose for him. Instead of like trying to find those ways, he just bashed his head against it until he got his kill, which sucks because obviously that's just a miserable experience. I guess I'll talk about the Beta Chaos comparison like real quick with the combo ender thing. I mean, this is not really like an uncommon thing for bosses to do that, where like with PCR's light attack, he might end it with the delayed slash or not. I mean, like in phase two, Rolana, when Rolana does that down slash in phase two, she'll sometimes do the thrust and continue, or sometimes she'll end the combo right there. So, like, this isn't really like an uncommon thing. It's a normal thing. Like, so sometimes they'll end it and then you react and punish, or you wait and see if they follow up and then you punish the follow up. All right, last thing I was going to talk about the bad design thing. I brought it up in the beginning of Clanky's video, but I didn't explain it too well, so I'll explain it better here. Like, I know a lot of people are going to watch this and think like, dude, you have to do so much to avoid the jank. You have to do so much. This shit is just stupid, but it really isn't. And the reason why PCR is still good without like the good design is because the way you fight him is still the same. If you watch my kill, the fight still flows. You're still getting all your punishes. You just have to understand what to do. If we look at a fight like Jory, yeah, not very exciting, not very engaging. If we look at a fight like Metter, not very engaging either. If we look at a fight like Golden Hippo, I mean, phase two is, yeah, not really the best. So PCR, once you understand how to avoid all these bad things, it's fun. Like PCR is not my favorite boss. I know a lot of people in my last video think I'm just glazing my favorite boss ever. PCR is not my favorite boss, okay? I like Rolana more. I like Lion more. Like there are bosses I like more than PCR. PCR is up there for me. Like I enjoy fighting him. You know, he's fun. He's engaging. That's what I want from a boss. Fun and engaging, not boring. And yeah, dodging the asteroids can be boring. Let him Mikola. But I mean, every boss will have stall moves, man. You just gotta relax and accept it. Just play the best you can. That's all that matters, you know. That's why it's fun. Doing optimized fights is great. And I think Jet would agree with that. All right, just randomly throwing this in the end because I completely forgot. When he was talking about the fist weapons missing, like, first of all, that's like, for a lot of bosses, you know, small fist weapons are gonna miss. And also for PCR, like, and for all the bosses, like, you can just free aim, like, your attacks for more, like, accuracy. And I find it, like, more fun. Again, just more engagement. Like, you know, you're just doing more, so it's just more engaging. And maybe you don't like it, but I don't know, it's something you get used to, and it's pretty fun. Like, you see, I use balls in my long kill, so it's definitely possible. Like, it's good. And yeah, you'll miss sometimes, and it sucks, but I mean, it's not really a specifically PCR thing. It's like every boss has that problem. All right, so that's the end. Jesus, this video is longer. I decided to put more context, like from his videos in than the Clanky one. But again, I don't hate this guy. I like this guy way more than Clanky. I just think he something definitely went wrong with the practice and stuff. Definitely just not enough figuring things out, especially since like he knows Ulu, it seems, since he put it in like the that one picture. So like he could have seen this kill and seen the strafes and stuff. So I don't really know like what happened, but I really hope he watches this and maybe tries PCR again with some of the cooler strafes and punishes, you know, because that's like it's fun, you know. It's it's fun fighting a boss. Good. I don't know, but yeah, no hate on this guy, even though this video might have said some things worse than Clanky's. I don't know. They both have some pretty silly things in them, but I don't know. It's fine. Another video for me. Another clickbait video that'll get way more views than my hardest kill ever will ever get, unfortunately. But that's just how it goes. But anyways, this was kind of fun to make. I kind of rushed it. It's like late, so I'm sorry if it's a lot more rambling than the last one, even though I rambled in the last one too. But I'm gonna head to bed now, so thank you everyone for watching. Have a nice day.